you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human Design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are. Hello, Human Design and Astro Club. Krystle here, and I want to let you know about some new offers that I have cooking in my kitchen and Leah has selected in her market. Some offers we've had for a while and some are brand new, and you might be hearing it here first, so listen closely. Our first offer is completely free. Yep, that's right. We have put together basically a cheat sheet to help you honor your strategy and authority. And with both Leah and I having the channel of surrender, we have developed tips and tricks to helping you really align to your design. And it's called Tips and Tricks to Honoring Your Strategy and Authority. And you can pick that up in the show notes down below. Now, our second offer is the next level up. After you've been honoring your strategy and authority, you then want to understand the details of your chart. You want to understand the details of learning the language of human design. So we've come up with a manual called Your User Manual to Your True Self. And we've created very easy to understand images and key terms on what makes up human design and the human design chart. If you're looking to understand your chart, the body graph, and the key terms of human design, this manual is for you, and you can pick it up in the show notes down below. Now, our next offer for you is on the variables, or like what we like to call the 4 transformations. And we've created mini, easy to digest a la carte and bundles on determination, which is your unique eating style, cognition, which is your super sense and the way your body interprets frequency, and then environment, which is where you feel whole, complete, and where you will reach your version of success on this material plane. You can pick up your variable class or bundle in the show notes down below, and please make sure you are on our email list for our variable intensive that's starting in spring. A wait list will be dropping very soon. Our next offer is our kids class called Nurture Your Child Through Their Design. And it's all about the energy types through the lens of a child. This is a great for anyone who wants to better understand how to support your child's design or even the little you and help you nurture that inner child. This is also great for beginners because it gives you cut and dry explanations with real life experiences of each energy type as a child. We also have a guidebook that breaks everything down, and we've added a bonus nervous system regulation cheat sheet through the variables, so you can discover that and more in the show notes down below. Now, there's 2 more brand new offers, so listen up. Leah and I have been meeting you guys on this podcast week after week for the last year, sharing the transits only for that week. And we wanted to better prepare you guys and take it to the next level. We are now introducing the Program Plus, which is very similar vibe to the weekly program, but we have a full monthly forecast now that you can pick up on our website for only $11.99. Yeah, that's right. It comes with an hour-long detailed audio on information on how to align to your design and take aligned action for the month through the transits, plus a forecast calendar and a guidebook that comes with new moon, full moon rituals, and more. Pick this month's forecast up down below in the show notes. Now, our last offer is dropping the month of October, so make sure you are on our email list to be the first to pick up our 3-part class called A New Direction 2027. This is a 3-part class chock full of detail on what is happening after 2027. Because after 2027, the entire planet is going to go through a completely new cycle. And the solar plexus, will be breaking down, as well as new beings will be born that will be known as the raves. You will surely want to know this information and prepare for what's to come. Make sure you are subscribed to our email list to be notified when it drops, or you can pick it up in the show notes down below. And while I have you here, we have a lot of free resources on human design over at the humandesignastro.com website. Now listen, I'm going to stop open throating here and I'm going to let you dive into this next captivating episode. So thank you so much for being here, friends, and I'll see you over there. Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. I'm Krystle.
And I'm Leah.
And this is the podcast you've been waiting for.
I don't have a routine down yet, do you?
No, but I should. Did we talk about this the last time?
Yeah.
I feel like, oh yeah, I said I was going to come up with a coordinated routine at some point. It was not this week. And that's my coordinated routine are just like me doing the same movements in a rhythmic order.
Yep. For those of you who are on the podcast, go watch YouTube because we dance for about 5 seconds every week.
Yeah, I feel like actually I was going to mention this today because Gate 45 is in transit. I'm like, I need to direct some people to our YouTube that we literally never talk. We put it out, I don't know, somewhere between 6 to 8 months ago and never spoke about it. Like, I think we talked about
it's in the description. We might have said it like maybe the
3
first
times. I think 3 times. And sometimes I joke about how we have 5 YouTubers watching us because we do. We actually do. We have 5 YouTubers that are watching us. Hello there. And then we have like hundreds of people watching that are listening to the podcast. Excuse me. Depending on the episodes. Definitely the new moon. And I'm telling you, the new moon and the full moon episodes get the most listens. Are you guys not interested in the weekly updates? Because to me, I feel like I get it. Like, especially if you're at the beginning, I guess, of your transit journey, the new moon and the full moon ones are the most exciting, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much stuff happening in between that. Kind of important.
I definitely used to be in like do the new moon and full moon rituals, like do these things and then all the space in between, like you just said, is like still freaking chaotic. And
you never know what transit's coming in or what planet's moving out of what.
Right.
And you're going to miss all of that if you're just paying attention to just the new moon and full moon. I mean, you do you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, there's a lot happening, especially this month. There's a lot happening this month, especially towards the end of the month. That's why we put out the Program Plus, our monthly forecast that is now out. If you have not picked up your copy, I guess I'm like, how do I want to phrase this? Picked up your copy. It's only $11.99. We had the biggest snafu that we I'm not like quite ready to laugh about it, but I guess we can. I don't know. I'm still very Daria about this whole experience.
Yeah, I'm still kind of traumatized, honestly.
Yeah,
I think
like
because
I'm like, this is going to happen every time now, isn't it?
No, it cannot happen every time. Usually, like I have a system down. I have notes. I have a checklist of things because we've launched programs so many times that
offers, not programs.
Offers, sorry, right?
I'm like, we have not
that, and I was like, that's not the right word.
Program. I don't want any. I'm not here to confuse people.
No.
It was confusing enough.
Yeah, so many different offers, like our classes and everything else, that I'm like, I have a system that I do things, and we double, triple checked. Like we knew this time was going to be iffy.
Yeah.
And so we triple checked. We emailed ourselves, a bunch of times. We checked all the things worked, and then.
Well, there was a couple things that didn't work, but I caught them when you sent me them in email. But what we were not prepared for was that the link itself was not going to work and had nothing to do with us. It was like encrypted. Something happened with Kajabi on their back end. unfortunately, and we had never experienced this before. We were very naive to it. I had talked about it briefly on uh last week's bonus episode, which definitely go check it out. It
Yeah,
actually
go
just
check it out.
dropped as we are recording this one
Mm-hmm.
on my son's birth story. If you're interested in that through the lens of human design, but I spoke about it over there. Um, just that we were so naive to this whole experience. We've gotten very, I would, it has like, I put it to luck because we've spent a year having zero glitches. How does that happen? Like, and we did
Yeah.
not know, we did not even consider that something would happen on the place that's hosting our website.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't
Yeah,
have
like most of the
that.
problems that we encountered were, errors that were made within creation, which
Mhm.
we do on the back end. So it's like there was no, I guess we just didn't think, hey, what happens if like, the place where you create all the things, they don't work either. And
Yeah.
now we do. And hopefully we have a back of way around.
We have Dave
We have Dave,
is
who
what we
is
have.
our
We have my husband.
huge shout out to Dave. Seriously, like he probably saved us. Like honestly, when he was like, "I don't believe that this is you guys," and I was like, my heart had been in my throat the entire day, and
No.
I was super like freaking. Both of us were freaking out, and then he was like, "I don't believe it's you guys," and it wasn't us. And then I was like, "Oh,
They did take Kajabi did take ownership. I will give them that, but their response was, I'm just gonna say Kajabi, pathetic. I know none of you were listening, but the customer service, come on. Like I know customer service because that's what my husband does. He
mhm.
does global customer support for the company that he works for. So that's the only reason why we were able to like
Yeah,
save that evening. But we were so confused as to what was happening for hours that we didn't. I just like, and I don't like having to bring in Dave. Like, if we have to bring in Dave, that means we were having some major problems.
yeah,
But luckily, he was able to give us a workaround he created a link for us basically. And
yeah,
that was the only thing that saved us. But not really, because I know we definitely, I don't know, like when people aren't able to purchase, they get frustrated and they give up. I
yeah,
totally get it.
yeah. We get it.
I've done that. But to the people that tried 5 plus, I don't know how many times to purchase, like, and you ended up actually being able to purchase, like, you guys are awesome.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
know,
like, that's dedication, that's support. And yeah, so it's available. The link is working now, hopefully. Like I just like, who
yep.
the hell knows? Like,
Well, if you did get our email, or maybe you didn't, we don't really know who's listening because we can't see. But if you did and you weren't able to use the links, then it is in the description here in the podcast. And then, you can always reach out to us. Like it's just us. We're our
yeah,
team
we're the
and
back
we're
end.
everything. We are the back end. So, if you have any questions for us, you can always reach out because we like to make sure everything is working.
Yeah. And we'll make it happen. Like
Hmm.
we've everyone that had a complication that emailed us, thank you so much for reaching out and trying to get the class, get
Yeah.
the offer. Because we immediately corrected it for you. We it may just be us, and sometimes it could take longer than expected, but in this case, we were able to take care of everybody pretty quickly. It was just a lot happening at once and on a weekend. I will never ever. I just was naive to this. I will never launch anything near somebody's fucking birthday. Because
Or a Saturday, apparently, which we
I
didn't think
mean,
would
I
be.
don't really care about that as much unless we have plans. If there's plans between the two of us, then we probably shouldn't do that now that we know this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely not launching on a birthday
No.
that I care about.
Yeah.
My third my child's third birthday. Um, and speaking of that, I just said it, but if you missed what I just said, was that I just recorded an episode on his birth story. He had kind of a traumatic birth. And there's definitely reasons as to why that happened through the transits and through his chart. So if you want to go ahead and listen to that one. It's called A Last Hope or The Last Hope. Not A Last. I
It's
think
the
it's
last
The
hope.
Last Hope.
95.
Episode 95. Because this is
Mhm.
going to be 96. I can't believe we are already almost to 100 episodes.
Crazy.
It's been a year, just over a year now. And yeah, like it's been a ride. But I'm really happy to put out those monthly forecasts now because people DM'd us and told us that they're now planning their month with the high energy days and depending on gates and transitions and all of that, like they're planning their month around that. And
Hmm.
that is what I wanted to hear. Like when
Exactly.
I heard that, I was like, yes, that is what I'm telling you, these days are the best days to give it a go. Give it a go.
Hmm.
Everything's an experiment. You never really know how it's going to happen. And also depending on how these are connecting to your chart and that the flavor and the essence of it is going to be different. Like when I'm speaking through the transits, it's really a collective energy. And then that's why I say at the beginning of our monthly forecast, pull up your chart so you can see if any of these gates are going to connect to your design in any way, because then that's going to give you a different flavor of the way your design is experiencing life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's in the show notes down below. I wanted to talk to you guys though about an event that happened yesterday for me. And I'm just like, it's a similar experience to when I told you guys about my my little trip situation where I broke out in this like really hot sweat, like my body began to really heat up and then I had a whole stomach situation. So that happened to me again last night after I don't know if I got food poisoning or what, but it was like the same thing. And I felt the same feeling arise in me. And I heard my spleen go, oh no, again. And
Mm.
I was like, oh no, what? No. And then all of a sudden, after that, like dripping, like all my pores opened up and I was just dripping. And I was like, and then I was in the bathroom for a very long time. We won't talk about that part. I won't go into detail, but I'm just like, are these mutations that are happening to me? Because the people that I ate with, they had the same food as me. Like my mom had also gotten a whitefish roll as well. So I'm just like, yeah, or maybe it was my whitefish. I just got the bad one. I don't know. Or it was something else. I know that's whenever you get like maybe food poisoning or whatever, you're like, I don't know what the hell I fucking ate. Unless
Yeah.
like was an immediate reaction.
Right.
Usually it's not. Usually it takes a few hours. Have you ever gotten food poisoning?
Uh, I don't remember.
No, none, then that's a no because you would you
I
would
have had an awful stomach my like whole life, so food poisoning and like IBS to me are like the same thing. So
oh my God.
yeah, I mean, I don't think I would ever confirm anything as food poisoning. No.
Yeah. No, it's like the worst I had was one time in high school. That was my worst food poisoning experience because it was just like projectile
Mm.
vomiting for hours to a
Yeah.
point I popped a blood vessel in my eye.
Oh,
That's how bad, that's how much I was
yeah.
throwing up.
Your body is like trying to get everything out. It's like, get out of me right now.
But like my body couldn't handle the entire, like, because it was a
Yeah.
it's a long drawn out night that you're going to experience with food poisoning. So I didn't have that experience, but it was still not a great one. And I don't know, it was very similar to that last experience that I had. I was like, what's happening here?
I didn't eat any shrooms. What is that?
I know. I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't. It's not even like I've been microdosing where I could say, well, no, nothing, nothing. I haven't been doing anything.
Mm.
So I don't know what that was, but I find it interesting. But I feel like this year with my nodal return, I've been going through a lot of like purges in a variety of ways. I feel like
Mm.
as a third line, it's like I gotta go through like those deep purges because I like to say the third line is here for like the accelerated human experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like for you, because you're also going through your nodal return, we're not having the same experience.
No, we're not. Yeah, it's really interesting. But I don't know how to like put it into words really. Like I've been trying to think about like things that are happening or things that I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm letting go of things
Yeah, you
right
are.
now. Like currently I'm letting go of people that I held on to for far too long. And I'm really like slimming down my personal Instagram page, which I've held on for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like there's still more that I need to do. And I don't know. There's more to come. I just haven't done it all yet. So it's like a slower process, I guess, is the way I could probably put it.
Might speed up at the end of the month with the eclipse.
I'm kind of nervous.
I'm definitely nervous about that one because I'm nervous about this whole month for me because we also have
Mm,
with the full, oh, so we haven't had our full moon yet. We're in the
yeah.
past, guys. So you'll be hearing this the day after the full moon.
Yeah.
Um, so, but that's happening with the channel of initiation, which comes in with the gate of shock, which connects to my bridge, one of my bridge gates.
Hmm.
So whenever that happens, I always get a little nervous
Hmm.
because that means that I'm probably going to be sticking my hand in an electric socket. And I'm also going to Carowinds this weekend. So I'm like, okay, we're not riding any. I mean, I guess technically it's still in the energy of it, but we're not riding any rides on Sunday, which is the eclipse. I'm not the eclipse. I'm sorry. Now I'm like, I want to get this eclipse over with so much that I keep talking about it and I'm making it sound like it's happening
Like it's in
now.
the past. Yeah.
It's not. It's it's at the end of the month. But I mean the full moon and my moon is also in Aries.
Hmm.
So it's I think anytime you have experience either in the new moon or full moon in your actual moon, then it's gonna you're gonna be directly impacted on with it in some way. So
Mm.
hopefully,
It'll be a good
hopefully,
weekend.
hopefully it'll be a surprise and delight. That's what
Delight.
I want. I want it to
Hmm.
be a delightful surprise. I do not want to stick my hand in a light socket.
Mm-mm.
But this is the thing, like knowing the transits, now I have awareness around any sort of potential and anything that I could be unaware going into, like because the transits are deeply influencing the way we think, right? It's connected to our conscious side of us, the mind. So having this awareness allows me to be like, okay, there could be some like really intense moments or like random things could occur. I'm also a third line, so it's like when that kind of stuff happens it could be like a really harsh bump, but I feel like now that I have the awareness around this, whenever have had this happen before, it's kind of like okay, just like process things before you make decisions.
It'll be really hard because our human self is like, do it now. Decide on this now. But
Yeah, or just walk into that fire, no worries.
I mean, I guess.
But sorry, I don't know if anyone's hearing my child play a video game in the background. He's in the other room, but I just hear bang, bang, bang. So yeah, that's fun. Nobody respects my work.
Start yelling at everyone. I don't hear it, but I don't have headphones in like I
Yeah.
usually.
So hopefully you guys don't hear, but if you do, sorry.
We're
But yeah,
moms. You're gonna hear all kinds of stuff.
yeah, but I'm just like a little Daria with everything that's been happening. I feel like now that Mercury's gone direct and like we're almost out of the shadows, which will be out of the shadows. I'll talk about that in a moment when we when this week rolls around, we'll be leaving the shadows of that, as well as Pluto's going direct as well on Saturday. All right, so let's dive into this week. So we officially are out of the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde, which happens before and after Mercury goes retrograde. There's a brief period where things are still a little bit wonky, sometimes more intense than even the actual retrograde, but I'm feeling a lot lighter. So hopefully you guys are too. I don't feel as chatty in my mind. So this is a great time to see the big picture of what was going on during Mercury retrograde, because this one was definitely a doozy, as we just talked about. I really like having the awareness of it. Sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna beat this. You're not gonna get to me. The thing is, the cosmos are influencing us whether we like it or not, and they're gonna get you even if you try all the workarounds. They'll be like, we're still coming for you. We're gonna get you in a way you didn't even expect. And that's what happened. So I'm sure a lot of you kind of went through that experience. I watched a lot of people and also talked to a lot of people that were having a really rough time during this retrograde. So my heart goes out to you. Okay, we're past this, but we are heading into maybe a little bit more feistier waters, but we'll talk about that later in the month. Or if you got the forecast, you already know what's going on. So anyways, so let's go on to Monday. Let's see what's kicking off on Monday. So we have a heavily defined G center on Monday. So the heart and the G center are activated and really amplifying our experience from the full moon Aries that just passed. And what this energy from the full moon is trying to do for us is almost shock us back into love. Okay. So it's about really, and we're still experiencing it right now. It just happened. So it's a shock back into universal oneness. I mean, I don't know. I meant to talk about this earlier, so I'm just going to bring it up now. I actually just found out from my Wide Valley's husband, because he's always informing me of what's going on in the world, because that's what Valley's does. You guys keep us informed. Okay. I'm glad I have a Valley's husband, because then I don't have to watch the news or go on Twitter. That man scrolls Twitter more than life. He's always on it. I'm like, I don't like, between the drumming and the Twitter, I don't know when he's working. Anyways, so he just informed me actually right before this podcast started that Biden is trying to unite the country through weed. And that is literally, I don't know if you probably don't know about this. So I think it just happened, which I think it's fantastic. Okay. I smoke weed, just so everybody knows. Cat's out of the bag. I smoke weed. I do shrooms. I'm the worst person in the world. I do not care. Actually, no, that's not true. But people have their judgments. I think weed is becoming less judgmental, though. There was more of a stigma before, and now it's just like, okay. I'm from Florida, where weed was legal down there. And it is silly. And I think, Biden's gonna, if you want to bring people together, you universalize weed. That's going to bring a lot of people together. So I'm curious to see, and this is a perfect time for this to be happening with the transits. And we do have gate 25 currently transiting us right now, which is all about universal love. And so, yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up. So we are in a deep transitional moment right now, and I haven't talked about this in a while. And maybe if you picked up our year forecast for 2022, go listen back to where we talked about the Pluto return, which is, and this is happening in the United States, and the United States is a global player for the planet. So the US is going through a huge transition right now, a mutation, as we are all going through in a way in the world, through an even bigger mutation as we head towards 2027. And yes, that class is going to be coming out within this next week. We wanted to wait until we got past the shadows to put anything out, because there's a small window this month when you should be putting out offers. And unfortunately, because we put out the forecast, starts at the beginning of the month, we had no choice but to put it out during when Mercury was going direct. So sometimes things happen. And so the focus for the beginning of this week is, aside from allowing ourselves to complete our intentions from full moon Aries, is the focus is on our intuitive insight for our future, which is really fitting for this month. That's a really big theme for this month. And right now, as the nodes are in gates 1 and 2, right? So this is about penetrating the core in the now. This is all about what you see in the now. This is a glimpse of your future through clarity. And we're being grounded in that shock we were just talking about. And we're all being initiated right now. Don't you see this? Like, we're all being initiated as we gear up for the eclipse that's coming at the end of the month. We must all get on our own correct paths right now, or I believe the eclipse is going to push us on it. Like, the eclipse will do, if you don't have the awareness and take your own aligned action, eclipses will put you on that correct path, and it won't usually feel too good getting on there if you're like not if you're asleep, basically. So this is one of the big reasons to put out our monthly forecast starting in October, because this eclipse is going to be huge for a lot of people. And right now, full moon Aries is saying, release what is no longer serving you now to be brave and create strength to enter into the void during the new moon partial solar eclipse, Scorpio, because that is really going to be the void that we're entering into. It's going to be clearing a whole path for all of us. But especially if you have South Node Scorpio, get ready. That's all I have to say. We'll talk more about that as that time approaches, or listen to the month forecast if you want to know what's in the now. So late Tuesday, potentially early Wednesday, we get an activation through the head and the ajna, which could potentially spark some new inspiration. Might be a great day to be mindful of your thoughts and journal out any insight. And then on Wednesday, we get a quick activation on direction and expression, which could potentially give us a little insight on the next steps after full moon Aries. I believe that's what it's kind of leading up towards. And late Thursday, we get a quick emotional surge to the throat, pushing us to feel the depth of what we have been experiencing and sharing, and really sharing these past experiences that we've had. Maybe this is a time to talk about Mercury retrograde, or even as we gear up for Pluto going direct as well. So we also get a new program on our endurance and instinct, and to be driven to change. What in your life needs change might be a great question to ask yourself at the end of this week, which you might naturally want to do anyways with the progression from the full moon, to realize that it's a time to carve a new path, and you're being grounded in how much you have grown, all of the new ways you've expanded your life. It's like the new program is saying, in order to grow, you must be willing to change, which is a great title. So I think we're going to use that title. In order to grow, you must be willing to change. So we've just gone through, let's back up for a second. Okay. I really want to help you guys see how these transits are really influencing us. So at the beginning of the week, we were just dealing with the full moon, right? And that was releasing um a lot of things that were holding us back from the path that we currently want to walk. And so now, towards the end of the week, it's saying, you know what? Now that you've gotten rid of some bags that you weren't supposed to be carrying anymore, let's really embrace that change so we can grow. So that's kind of the progression of the week. And like I was just talking about, Pluto goes direct on Saturday on the 8th, which won't feel very different for a little while because it is slow moving, but this is a chance to revisit what you just reviewed, as it's going to be moving forward in what you just experienced. So if you feel any hidden truths coming to the surface a little after Pluto moves direct, because like I said, with it being slow moving, it will take a little time to even feel it, which depends on your sensitivities, which some people won't feel Pluto at all because if you look at, let's talk about the body graph for a second. If you look at the body graph, it's all the way at the bottom of the chart. So I think it's like a small percentage. I'm now blanking on this, of course, because we're talking about this while we're recording, but it's a small percentage for those lower planets that are actually influencing us. But I would say if you're like maybe a Scorpio sun, you're someone that will have more influence from Pluto because Pluto is ruled, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So, like I said, not everything is cut and dry. This is just when we talk about like the program, it's very surface and it's very collective. What's going on in the collective? It's important for you to know your personal chart in both human design and astrology so that you can kind of see how things play out for you on a personal level. Okay. Um, so, like I said, everyone's going to experience the transition differently. Um, but Pluto is really about the underlying truth. And it's a collective truth, it's a generational truth, right? So it's really like looking at what are your as Pluto goes direct, I would invite you to look at what gates do you have Pluto in your unconscious and conscious gates. What gates are they in? And then also look at where is Pluto in your astrology chart? What house is it in? Is it hanging out with any other planets? What sign is ruled by it? What's the house in that? What sign is in that house or where Pluto's sitting? Like looking at all those placements can give you a deeper understanding of that type of storyline for you on a personal level. And then you can also look and see where Pluto is transiting in your chart currently. And it'll give you, because if you got Pluto in like your first house, you're going to probably feel that a lot deeper than someone that has it like in their 11th house. Like if it's closer to who you are, and the first house is all about the me, then you're going to probably experience it on a deeper level. So it really just depends on how it shows up in your personal chart. And that is pretty much what's going on this week. Nothing other than, I don't know how everyone's going to deal with the full moon, but um yeah, that's mostly what's happening.
That'll be interesting. I'm going to take some more notes, I think, this week. I usually try and at least pull a card a day for myself anyway to see like what comes up because it's been really helpful. I used to do it every day anyway, and then I fell out of routine. And so I'm trying to pick that back up. So I'm interested to see what will come up knowing more about the transits because it will just to kind of, I don't know, get extra support, something like that. Okay, so I pulled two cards. I pulled the tarot card and the oracle card, and I feel like I want to do the oracle card first because somebody needs to hear this.
Okay. That's probably me.
It says no.
No. Yeah. Regenerator.
Yep. It says wait, postpone, pause, say no. And that's the very human design thing to say is to wait, right? Because we're all waiting.
We're all waiting.
We're all waiting
I think people get this confused. They think like, oh, manifestors don't have to wait or something like that. They're waiting for that urge.
Yep.
They're waiting to figure out when's a good time to inform if they need to inform.
Yep.
So all the types are waiting. It's not just like the generators, the projectors. I mean, the reflectors have to wait out their lunar cycle, right? So we're all waiting.
Just because it's not like in the wait to be invited, wait to respond, just because it's not like the actual word sitting there. We do need to wait.
Everyone's still waiting.
Mm-hmm. We're all waiting. So anyways, if someone needs to hear this, maybe you're in confusion or you're foggy right now or something, you need to hear something to confirm this. Also, just listen to your own inner authority. This is not something that you should definitely go by. Listen to yourself. But anyway, this could help. You are being called to either pause or say no. Saying yes to something that isn't in alignment with you will drain your energy and your time. Hold out for a congruent 100% yes. Often when we are looking for guidance to make a decision, it can be frustrating not to move into clear and considered action. I'm going to pause. There's two things I'm coming up with here. Emotional wave, first of all. Second, your heart. Because if you're saying yes to every single thing and trying to prove like your yes to everything, you're just going to burn yourself out. And that's just the two things that come up as I read this. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that is actually really fitting with the heart, because we have the G center and the heart activated at the beginning of this week, which the majority of people have undefined hearts, right? It's only 35% of the population that have defined hearts. So just me and Leah. I'm just kidding. But seriously though, I feel like and I've talked to a lot of undefined hearts or open hearts when the defined heart goes into transit, right? When they get to experience the defined heart in some sort of way, whether it's through a hanging gate, or in this case, the beginning of this week, we're going to have everyone's going to get to experience the defined heart through the 2551, which is the channel of initiation, which is really like the hero's journey. The hero has to go through those ups and downs, those shocks, those experiences to really bring them back to who they are. So that's kind of what the experience of this full moon is going to be about, that we've just experienced. And it's really important that you know who and what you want to commit to. And for you undefined hearts, it's really about yourself, committing back to you, and not just saying yes because you feel that extra pressure, that extra motor, that extra little I call the heart like that little, I think of it as like this little jetpack that's like on my back, and I just go boop, and then I just like soar up into the air. But it's only it's in bursts. The heart works in bursts, and this is a thing that I think undefined and open hearts don't really can't really conceptualize or feel into, because it's not part of them. But the heart works to rest. This is the part that a lot of people don't get, even defined hearts. And I even have a hard time with this, where it's like, I now know, like, do I really, the best question, the easiest way to know if the heart's actually in it or not. And even for the open undefined hearts, I would especially ask this question, and you might need to ask a few times. For me, it's honestly a quick yes or no, but it's like, do I really want to do this? The heart is about wanting. Okay. It's about like, what do you want for yourself in this material world? And if it's a no, you don't want to do that, like, you got to respect that. The heart is all about fucking respect. Okay. And every defined heart wants to hear it. They want to hear how much you appreciate them. So go tell a defined heart right now how much you appreciate them, and watch them light up. It's like, the open undefined heart wants to hear how worthy they are, and the defined heart really wants to just be appreciated and hear like how much you appreciate them. Because a lot of times, I mean, we've talked about this, the defined heart can be taken for granted, because it'll always show up.
Yeah. We're always the last one standing.
We are always the last one standing. Yes, this is true. So yeah, sorry, but on a
no, that's okay. I feel like that's important. Had to come through. That was important to say. Let's see. However, timing is everything, and not receiving clear guidance is actually guidance in itself. We all go through times known as waiting periods. These times are crucial for your body to regenerate, the new path to formulate, and the universe to begin creating things on our behalf. You don't need to be plowing forward all the time to move forward. A potent, congruent yes, when the time is right, will put you ahead leaps and bounds. Don't force things now just because it seems like the only option. Take a breather and wait. The waiting is actually very productive, for when the time for movement comes, you can be ready to dive right in. Use this time to regenerate and ponder what you truly want and consider the options. If the options are not clear, don't fear because this time is a gift. Use it to tend to your garden and take a rest. Take a moment from your busy life to clear the decks and prepare time for the future. For come spring, clarity will bloom and you will have reserves, space, and the drive to say yes and act and move quickly. Which goes great with the next card, which is why I was like, I need to do that one first because I got the King of Pentacles. And this guy is all about abundance and reaping the rewards. It's also about a rest period because the king he's able to kind of like turn nothing into something. He seems kind of like a kitchens guy. He's also got a lot of Taurus. He's got the bulls all around him. There's a lot of Taurus there. There's grapes, and you can't really see it well because this card is kind of dark. But the grapes are about abundance, like bringing something into life, and then you can create more from it. And the Pentacles in itself is, this could be a time right now where you're seeing abundance come in some form, whatever that looks like for you. It could be monetary. It could be, things are successful for you right now, your business, your life, your personal life, your relationships, your bank account, any of those things could be looking really good for you, and it's okay to take a rest. So like they say here, it's all right to take a rest right now if you are finding that you're in a spot where things have come to life and you've created, and now you're seeing the success of all the things that you've done. And you can take a new step forward into starting a new project if that's something that you've had in the works. And I really would suggest to, grab our forecast if you haven't, and just use those transits to understand when would be the best time for me to try and launch something or try and put something out or ask for that raise or whatever it is that you're looking for in your life, and wait and see what comes up. Because I think those just go really well together. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's going to be, as we talked about in the monthly forecast, there's going to be windows opening up after this week.
Yeah.
This week could be a potential chance for people to start talking, but I don't know, with the full moon, and also allowing Pluto to go direct, because when planets do go direct, sometimes, stuff happens because Pluto's so far out there, it's not going to be super impactful for a lot of people, but it's still it's still better from what the energies look like for the next week to maybe wait for that window. And we do have a little Kazemi coming up as well that we'll talk about when we get towards that, or listen to the monthly forecast to get the heads up about it, because that is going to be a nice, beautiful, we'll call it a heart opening for that one. So yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to add with that card?
No, I don't think so. I like that one. Those are nice together.
Yeah. Really allowing yourself to just, what?
There's an owl hooting outside my window.
Oh, I can't hear.
I thought it was someone like setting an alarm off. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, really allow yourself to figure out where your heart wants to commit to this week. Because that's a really also big theme for this week, is the commitment of the heart with the G center and the heart activated together. That's really what creates that connection, where the heart really becomes one. Because the heart chakra, if you didn't know this, we'll end with this, the heart chakra mutated. And that's how we got the G center, because the G center is also connected to the heart, but it's split. And so now we have the heart ego separated from the heart, which carries the vessel of love. It carries our direction as well. That's the G center. It's a very elusive, illusionary place. And even for people that have the G center defined, we don't really know where the hell we're going. People are like, oh, direction. No, I don't fucking know direction. I just am able to surrender to it a little bit easier without questioning it as much. We go through periods of questioning. Like, I feel like when the 1 and the 2 came active, I didn't realize how much I was really going to question my direction. And having the awareness around that has allowed me to be like, No, Krystle, you are not allowed to burn anything down while these transits are in place because you're going to feel weird with parts of it. But
Yeah.
it's that when that comes up for me, maybe I'll do a little searching, a little soul searching, whatever capacity that I want to do that in. And then I'm like, and that's it. And then I just let it go after that. But for someone that has an open, undefined heart, it's a constant questioning that's
Yeah.
happening there.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's totally okay.
This is a time right now to be getting some clarity this week. You might be reaching some clarity if you do have an open, undefined or an undefined G center, a heart center. There might be some clarity happening for you because you don't normally have this activation. So when it comes into transit, the transits are actually way more influential than being an aura with somebody. There's no escaping the transits.
Mm.
You can't go into another room
Oh,
with the transits.
as
You
much
can't
as we
hide under
wish
your
we could.
blanket.
I mean, you can, but you're still affected by it. It's
Yeah, it's up in the mind, man. The Matrix is a will take you on a loop, throw you around like a little rag doll. So like I look
tricky little
back,
bitch.
I look back at my life and I'm just like, wow, you really got flung around there for some times. And I bet you there was some heavy transits happening, like the one that I just talked about with my son Otis. Um, there was reasons as to why we were going through that experience, and there was also support there. That I was like, it was like I intuitively knew it. Like my spleen was helping guide me with that place, but I had no real awareness of it because I didn't, there was, like I didn't have the understanding around it. The transits help us give us a language behind what's happening.
Mhm.
So hopefully these weekly updates are helping, and definitely check out the program plus if you're ready to dive deeper or you want to prepare yourself as a first line. I'm like, tell me where we are 5 years out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I forget all of it anyways.
I know, right?
But it's like under there, but it's not there. Like it's like I allow my body to go through the experience. And then I do like to look back and be like, oh, I was in alignment there. I totally didn't even realize.
Mm.
So those are always the fun times. So make the best out of your week by resting and listening. Listen to really your heart's desires this week. And if you have a hard time with that, then just wait.
There you go.
So I guess this is it. And we will go ahead and we'll see you over there on the next one, which actually, this is a really big bonus episode. I just realized,
Yeah,
guys,
the next one is
tune in. The bonus episode for this week,
so excited.
you're going to be, you like, I'm excited. You guys are going to be excited when it comes out. Yeah. So tune in. We'll see you over there.
All
Have a
right.
good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Krystle and I are really here as defined hearts to provide value to you with our unique insights. If you have found any of this episode valuable to you, we ask that you share with a friend, tag us with a highlight on Instagram, and write us a review so we can reach more people. Human design and astrology are tools to guide us toward our transformation. You are a unique and beautiful being, and we encourage you to let that light inside of you shine bright. See you in the next episode, friends.